Hi, my name's David Rippey. I am a certified hypnotherapist. I had a client come to me looking for a past life regression. For those not familiar, a past life regression is where I bring someone down into a deep hypnotic superconscious state where they can recall details of a previous life. I left out the induction and I wanted to start it right to where she goes into this new life, believe it or not, as a dolphin. So I want you to enjoy and thank you and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts.
Well, when I died, it was the 60s.
Okay. So back when you were 75, it was like the 40s, as you mentioned. Is that
Right.
correct? Okay. Well, that all kind of ties together. Well, let's kind of look at that. Going up to 94 years of age, were you very frail at that point?
No, not very. I I appeared to be my age, but I was still walking and performing
Okay.
healings, and I was still I was missing a couple teeth, but I was okay.
You're very active. That sounds great.
Yeah, I was walking and everything.
And then you said there was time. You felt like it was almost time to go, as you mentioned. And take me to that part in the book to where you said use, I guess, the book or some of the things in it to help you consciously die. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a very practiced spiritual person and involved in different forms of yoga, and I knew that my body was organic and it was becoming too uncomfortable to remain in my body, and I was aware of the spirit being separate from the body, and I chose to end end that life consciously, not by suicide, but by allowing death to come to me
Sure.
overnight, and I left my body.
All right, let's go to that moment when you left your body. And you feel it and see it so clear in your mind now, almost like it was yesterday. And I want you to describe when you saw yourself coming out of your body. What took place, and what did you look like, and give us a little background on that.
Well, I see my body, but pretty frail, um, and there's a fire going to my left, and I'm on a kind of like a simple wooden bed, um, with some pretty like tattered looking covers. Very simple room. I don't see any windows, and I had been meditating for a few days, and
And I want you to just relax and avoid the noise. And just allow yourself to hold on to those memories.
I'm still there. Um,
Good. And just kind of hang on to it. So I guess the phone wasn't off the hook, but that's okay. So just kind of relax. And tell me, describe that to me again. You're staring at your room, and you're kind of staring, and I guess you're looking all around outside of your body.
so, well, I'm still in my body at this point, but well, maybe I'm not because I'm observing myself. But I am able to, I'm watching my body as I take my last exhale, and there's a white, translucent, kind of milky colored essence came out through my last breath, through my mouth, and it turned into a dragon, well, a dragon shape,
Wow.
and
Yeah, look at that dragon shape kind of coming out. You're there in the room, and as you drift down deeper and deeper, allowing all the images to become brighter, kind of remembering all the details. And as you're there and you kind of see that wispy dragon shape, I want you to kind of go from there as we go forward. I want you to take me to where you go next, or what you see next after that. Where do you go from there?
I remember seeing my body that I just left very closely and recognizing that for a brief second that I could see myself. So my brain, I guess, was still functioning so that my open eyes could see my own spirit.
Okay.
And I watched as my eyes glassed over and became lifeless. And I kind of kissed my forehead, my own forehead, and then there's just darkness.
Okay, so it kind of goes to a darkness. And that's fine. So I want you to just kind of stay there and kind of reflect on all we've been talking about. Kind of unlocking all those all those memories in your mind. And seeing your eyes go lifeless, and all of a sudden you feel you're just kind of in dark. And as you drift down deeper and deeper, I want you just to relax and not be fearful of the dark. Just allow it to kind of surround you as you relax and drift down. Deeper and deeper. As you're drifting down, I want you to come to the end, kind of that darkness. And maybe it just sort of dissipates like a dark fog. And as you're drifting down deeper and deeper, I want you to see it kind of fade away, maybe like smoke kind of being blown away. So I want you to continue to drift down deeper and deeper, allowing it all to dissipate away. And when you come to the end of the darkness, I want you to tell me what you see.
I see a whole bunch of fish because I'm under the water.
Okay, you're under the water. And why are you underwater? Are you a fish too?
I'm actually a dolphin.
Okay. Well, that's neat. And let's kind of look down and just kind of go along and follow him along. Are you a male or a female?
I'm a female.
Okay. So I want you to just kind of swim along, as you would as a normal dolphin. And as you relax and enjoying the water, are there other dolphins around you, other family members or anything?
There are 16 other dolphins.
16, okay. Now, do you travel with this group of dolphins? Just like a pod of sorts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a family.
Okay. Well, as you're drifting along and you're enjoying this life as a dolphin, do you have the consciousness of a dolphin, or do you feel a little smarter than that underwater?
I feel pretty much the same as being a human. Just
Okay. So it's almost like maybe you took it in a dolphin body form, is that correct?
yeah, except the other dolphins share the same consciousness.
So they all share the one you have as well?
Well,
Or are they more of a dolphin consciousness?
they share a very high intelligence.
Okay. Well, as you're drifting along, I want you to kind of look around, kind of go through the waters. And how old do you think you are when you see, like, sort of middle age? How old do you think you are?
45.
45, okay. So you're flying through the water, and I want you to continue to swim along. And do you know which ocean you stayed in most? Or does it feel warmer, colder? Islands
It's very
around?
warm. This is not present day.
Okay.
The Earth is very different.
All right, let's look at that. Now, as we look at the Earth, we know what it looks like today in our minds. How would you describe the differences back then?
There were a lot less separations. There was more like one landmass and much more ocean.
Okay. Now, as you're going along as the dolphin, do you remember what that landmass was called? What was it referred as? Do you remember?
Atlantis.
Okay, so it was known as Atlantis. Now, as you're going along, did you swim around that landmass and just kind of stay close to it, or did you go out in the ocean once in a while, or how'd that work?
So it was a large island, but at the center, so this was a floating island,
Okay.
very large, and I, being a dolphin, can swim underneath of the island, and kind of come up in the middle. There's a large like lagoon or a large kind of saying with a water hole. It's much bigger than that. A very large lake, I
Okay.
guess. And there are waterfalls that pour into it from the land. But I can swim to meet, or I can swim, from the ocean underneath the land to come up in the center of the land.
Now, as you came up in the center and kind of looked around, as best as you could, what did you see besides that lake? What was around it?
There's a lot of really lush plants and flowers and waterfalls and not mountains per se, but cliffs with cascading waterfalls and different ferns and fruits and edible things. There are very large white birds, almost like storks or herons, kind of.
Okay.
A little prehistoric looking. They're very large, kind of lizard-like eyes. And there are human-looking beings, but the birds are even bigger than they are. And these humans are kind of walking in pairs or small groups, and they're collecting fruit and different leaves of plants. And there are like smaller animals that appear to be kind of pets or helpers.
Okay.
And there's no clothes. Everybody's naked.
And there's people walking around naked?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you had to look at the people, and you said this feels like where again?
It feels like Atlantis.
Okay. So it was like Atlantis. Now, were the people, did they seem to have, did they live in structures, or was there anything flying around, or what describes something that you looked up and kind of looked around? Or was it all just very natural?
Pretty natural, not really sensing any technology, so to speak. Certainly not machinery or anything like that.
Okay.
The air is very, very pure and good to breathe and sweet, almost.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds good. And what did you eat as a dolphin? What did you guys prefer?
I ate fish.
Okay. So it was all very blissful life. And how long did you live as a dolphin?
I lived to be 72.
72 years old, okay. And did you just die of old age underwater, or how'd that work out?
There was a really terrible thing that happened.
Okay.
There was a lot of it was a very beautiful existence, and a darker, very masculine race came, from the sky, and basically took. So as a dolphin, I was very close and very good friends with the humans there.
Okay.
And I would bring them fish, and in exchange they would give me something, some sort of energetic thing. And it was just, we existed to exist. We existed in pure joy and just the love frequency, and that's what there was.
Now, that was between you and the humans, is that correct?
Right.
Now let's talk about that. How did you did you communicate telepathically or signals or chirps, or how'd you do it?
It was mostly telepathic.
Okay.
I don't I don't remember ever hearing a human speak, just an understanding.
Okay. So it's mostly telepathic, and you guys all liked each other, and everybody got along. And then all of a sudden, something tragic happened, I guess. There was some, describe what happened.
There was literally like a dark, like a black, many black holes that opened up from there. So there was like a baby blue sky, and there was some white fluffy clouds, and it was the middle of the day, and just the sun was shining, and everybody was going about their business, and a bunch of these dark holes just formed in the sky, and the first thing was there was this terrible feeling, kind of coming from like within, like from in the center, this dark vibration, and it was almost suffocating, like impending. It was an energy that it was a low frequency that threw off the high frequency that was the land and the ocean there, and it was very forceful and overbearing, and these beings came down not on spaceships but just through portals through the black holes that opened up in the sky.
Okay.
And as a dolphin, I watched kind of from afar as these dark, very masculine beings just completely took what they wanted, and this like darkness fell upon the land.
Was it, did they like kill a lot of people and animals and all, and just kind of like a bunch of
It
Vikings
wasn't
from
just
somewhere else?
about
Or?
killing, but it was more about overtaking the land, saying this is where we're going to be stationed now, and so live like us and be like us or die.
Okay. Now, did a lot of people from Atlantis, a lot of the Atlanteans, do they, I guess they died or they fought against them, and some went along with it, I guess?
Well, they didn't have any means to fight. It was never even in their
Thoughts?
yeah, there was no fighting. It was more like tragic and sad.
Yeah. So this was a whole new animal for them, right?
Right.
And so as you go forward as a dolphin, how old are you as a dolphin when that took place, roughly?
I was older. It was near the end of my life.
Okay. So that happened when you were older, and now you were very upset, I guess. And did you just kind of die because of the love in your heart was broken, or how'd that work? Or did they spear you, or what happened?
I think after that, everything became very polluted. It was much more difficult to breathe the air, and everything became a whole lot more dense with the arrival of these beings. And already being at an advanced age, it was hard for me to maintain my health, and I kind of died of natural causes.
Okay. Well, let's go right to that death. And how old are you again, roughly?
72.
Okay. Well, as we're looking at that life, and that beautiful life as a dolphin, and all the great, great friendships at Atlantis, let's kind of go to that death. Now, as you see yourself as a dolphin, let's go to that moment of death. What do you see? Do you see anything else happen at that point?
I really just see my body floating to the bottom of the ocean floor.
All right, so you see your dolphin body kind of dying and just floating down to the bottom. Now, do you feel like your consciousness in the water looking down as it drifts down, or what do you think? Because you can see yourself in a sense.
I'm more on the bottom of the ocean watching my dolphin body floating to the bottom.
I see. So you're already down on the bottom, is that correct?
Right.
And you're kind of waiting for your body to catch up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you're looking at that, you feel yourself, does it feel like you're more whole again than when you were in a dolphin body? Do you feel you have more powers, or how does that feel, that consciousness? Is it euphoric, or what's it like when you die right then?
It was, at first, like a deep reverence or gratitude for the body itself as an organic thing, and kind of bittersweet. But it kind of literally felt like finishing a book and snapping it shut.
Okay, and you like that life as a dolphin, is that right?
It was very nice until the end.
Yes. What's, now as that consciousness is underwater now, where do you go from there? Tell me where you go next. You stay underwater for any length of time, or feel yourself rising up through the water, or what happened?
I feel myself, the pressure, the great pressure of the water. I was pretty deep. Kind of, it felt almost like quicksand, so the sand at the bottom of the ocean became kind of like quicksand and sucked me in. And, I just felt a lot of pressure. And then I felt relief or release, and felt space, and very light and airy, and without a body.
Okay, so now you said you're out in space?
I just felt
Or
like
you just felt like you were in space, but
coming from pressure and sand to emptying out into like a nothingness.